Hi friends, it's Britt from Britt Create Stuff. Welcome to a holiday album tutorial series. In this video, I'll be showing you how to build the base, the sections, and some pockets to the inside, front, and back cover using my holiday album add-on kit for the Whispers of Christmas. And it is called a holiday album. All measurements and a drawn layout will be available in the description below, as well as the kit links and an exclusive coupon for you guys. Okay, so let's get started. This one is kind of like my prototype. So I built it completely from craft paper. So for the actual base, I'm going to be using chipboard. If you don't have chipboard or bookboard, then you could absolutely use cereal boxes, any kind of packaging boxes, but I would layer like maybe 1 to 2 layers and glue those together. So before we get any more into it, you will need your scoring board and your scoring tool, your paper trimmer. You'll need cardstock, chipboard or cereal boxes, decorative papers, some double-sided tape or glue. So if you don't have one but you have the other, either one will work, and inks or oxides. So if you want to ink and distress your papers and your edges, you also need that. So this series is going to be split up into 5 parts. Today's video is going to be covering the base and how to assemble the sections. My album is going to have 8 sections. Okay. So to start off with your chipboard or cereal boxes, you're going to need 1 piece that is 4 by 8, and then you will need 2 pieces that are 8 by 8. So this is going to be your covers and your spine. So these, each individual is what I call a section. Okay, and then each section has a front and a back. Okay, so today, again, the focus is on the cover and the base. All right, well, we can kind of get right into it. So here on this paper, I have a list of the paper and the chipboard sizes that are needed. So if you want to pause and write these down or take a screenshot or whatever, then you can refer back to this page. Okay, and if you guys have any questions, make sure to put it in the comments and let me know what you think. Okay, so the 2 pieces for the sections, you will need 8 pieces of 7.5 by 7.5. Okay, and I've got each one numbered. Then you will need 8 pieces of 8.5 by 7.5. Okay. So already, to save time, I have my pieces pre-cut, and I went ahead and so some of the papers we'll be using are papers from paper pads that I have here in the craft studio, and most of the papers will be from the kit, but for the cover I ended up using some 12 by 12 paper. So I'm going to set 2 pieces aside and we're going to start out with this one. Okay, so these are the papers that I've chosen for the cover, and then I went with a different pattern for the spine. But you guys can do it however you would like. So I'm going to be using my 1-inch double-sided tape. And I am going to go as close to the edge as I can without the very edge. And I'm going to do this all the way around. Some of these parts I will speed up. And some of the process I will not. Just because if you're, still new to albums and making journals and junk journals and all the things, sometimes it's beneficial for you guys to show the process, right? And I'm just going over and mashing those down pretty good. Okay. Then I'm going to come back through and peel these off. So I'm going to make sure, which this one, I mean, technically, I don't think is really that directional, but I'm just going to try to line it up here. And I have trimmed these like 10 by 10 square. So I have an inch border all the way around. Okay. Let me get my big one here. Okay. You don't have to have one of these handy tools, but they do come in handy. So I'm just going to mark all the way around where to trim my corners. Then I'm going to trim along where I cut. Actually, I think I'm going to use, this one is 1/2 inch. Again, double-sided tape. And I'm going to go all along on all 4 sides. Again, close to the edge, but not all the way. Okay, come back through and make sure those are completely flat. There's no air bubbles or bumps. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come in and fold these up one at a time. So I'm going to do this right side, the left side, then the top and the bottom. And before, I am going to add just a little bit of glue right here in these corners where there's no tape. Okay. Now, reverse it. And we're going to do the same on this side. Okay. Again. Okay. So now, before we move to these next 2 pieces, I'm just going to take the tip and I'm just going to kind of mash the overlap down right up against the edge of the chipboard. And that is so when we fold those down, they will lay flat. Okay, and then you won't have those weird corners. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, come in again with glue. Oops. Ain't trying to glue that down. So now we have our front cover. Okay, you can see how those overlap and lay nice and flat. Okay, I won't make you go through that whole process again, so I will pause and do this one, and then I will come back because we're going to do the spine a little differently. Okay, so we have got both front and back cover. Okay, so we're going to set that aside and grab our 4x8. So this is the paper that I have chosen. Okay. Again, I am going to cover all 4 sides as close to the edge as you can get. A little too close to the edge on that one, but it'll be okay. Okay. Going to peel off so my paper is 8 by 10, so doing 1 inch from the top and the bottom, and then 2 inches left on the sides. Okay, and let's see. No, I'm not going to do the corners like that on this one. Had to think for a second. Okay, so I'm going to fold the top and bottom up, as well as the sides. I'm just going to fold them straight up. And then I'll take that back. I will, just because I want to make sure that the paper probably confused. You probably lost you, but I'll get you back. Okay. I messed up the one corner, but it's okay. Okay, for the spine, I should say the outward spine, we are going to put double-sided tape on the top and bottom. Push those down. And just like we did before, I'm just going to come in and add a little bit of glue in those corners. There we go. And then mash in the corner there. All right, gonna do the same with the bottom. I'm going to trim that up just a little bit from where I had that mixed up. Okay, so now we can grab our front and our back. So we are going to be gluing this and this. Okay, so we are going to do one side at a time. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to take and I am going to kind of overlap these just a little. I'm going to flip it around and do the same to the other side. Alright, I'm going to lift that one up first, and then the top one. Okay, I'm going to hold this over, let it stick to my thumb just a little bit to hold it while I position this. Make sure that it's lined up. And don't worry, guys, because if you've never done it before like this, you're not going to see any of this white, okay? Once we're done, you're not going to you're not going to see any of that. Okay, the clean edge. Right. We're going to do the same with this side. I'm going to do this one first. And this one. And I'm not worrying about doing the little triangles with glue. Okay, just want to make sure that it's lined up. Okay. Okay, it lays flat. There we've got our spine. Okay, just gonna make sure that's glued in there. All right, it's looking good so far. Okay, so now we have this assembled. We're going to set this aside. Okay. The next part is going to be our inward spine. Okay. So this is a much smaller scale, but this is what we're going for. Okay. So we're going to have what you call mountains or peaks and then glue them together. And then our sections will be attached to these. Okay. So to start off, you are going to need a piece of your craft paper or cardstock, whatever you are using. I recommend craft paper or some thick cardstock, at least 65 pounds or higher, because you want this to be sturdy, okay, because there's going to be some weight. It is going to measure 11 1/8 by 8. Okay, and go ahead and grab your scoring board. Okay, again, this is 11 1/8 by 8. I'm going to turn this over to this side, and I am going to, got my tool. All right, so I had to, and it's a good thing that I went over and did this again, just to double check that, you know, everything was correct before doing the tutorial. So I did have to make some adjustments, but that's okay. So your first score mark, starting on your left side, is going to be at 3/4. So 3/4 of an inch. Okay, at 3/4. Your next score is going to be at 1 1/4. Okay, so you've got 3/4 and 1 1/4. From this point all the way until we get to 9 7/8. 7/8. We are going to make a score mark at every 3/8 of an inch. So on my scoring board, that's every 3 notches. So we've got 1 1/4, and then we've got 1 6/8. Okay. So if you don't understand the measurements, just count 3. Okay. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. It's a lot, I know. Oops. There we go. Sometimes you gotta be careful because your paper can shift. Getting close. All right, so I am at 9 7/8. Okay, then I am going to score at 10 3/8. So I know those are probably hard to see, but I'm going to bring it down a little bit, and I'm just going to try to come through and go over these one more time just to make sure
that we have some really good score lines.
Okay, so you can set your scoring board to the side where it is out of your way. So then what we're going to do is start folding. Okay, so the first one I'm going to say is a valley. Okay. Okay, and the next one we are going to fold into a valley. The next one we are going to make it our first mountain peak. Okay. The next one, a valley, and then a mountain. Next is a valley, then a mountain. So you're going to go back and forth in that pattern until you have all 8 mountains. So far, we have 3. So keep going. Valley, mountain. Valley, and mountain. Okay. Valley, and mountain. Okay. Valley, next again, so valley, and a mountain. Alright, and then that last one, you're going to fold it in. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so next I'm going to be using my 1/4 inch double-sided tape. And on one side of the mountain, I'm going to add tape to it. So I'm just going to go through and mark. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. And I'm going to turn it this way. And line this up centered, because you don't really want to get any of the sticky in your folds. Okay. So every one that you mark, go through and add your double-sided tape. Okay, so I went ahead and did all 8. Now I'm just going over, make sure there's no air bubbles. Then, doesn't matter which side you start with, we're going to go through and one by one you're going to match it up to the other side of the mountain pink. And I'll start at the top and mash down as I go. And come through like that. Okay. I'll do one more and then I'll kind of speed it up. Okay. All right. So here's what we have. And they move. Okay. So I'm going to pause and go ahead and finish up and do the rest, and then we'll be back for the next step. All right. So I went ahead, finish those up. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so we've got our extra flaps. Next step is I'm going to take my scissors and we're just going to angle those edges. Okay, so instead of those being straight, and I'm just going to cut up to the edge. Okay, not all the way, but it's close. And it doesn't matter if everyone is matching, because you're not going to see this. This is just going to help your sections fit on your tabs a lot easier. Okay, I'm going to flip it and do the same for the bottom. Okay. Just gonna clean up my area real quick. So now I'm going to grab my cover and we are going to go ahead and glue this down. So for this, I'm going to use my 1 inch. And so this one's going to be a little bit tricky. But again, trying to get as close to the edge as I can. Don't worry if it's got bubbles, because we're going to come through and mash that down. Okay. So I'm just doing the edges because the rest of this I want to use glue. So I've got the glue on there. I'm going to peel off one side at a time, the double-sided tape. And I'm going to add some glue on top of that, just so when we go to place it down, it'll give us just a little bit more freedom to be able to move it and adjust it if we need to, but you'll have to act quickly. Okay. Right, so I'm grabbing the sides here, pull it kind of close to me. Okay. Turn it around. And I'm going to, in each one, mash down. Alright, so on each side, and so that was just a little bit off, but you'll be able to see where the natural fold is. Okay, I'll do that on both sides. Just pinch a little bit. Right, so now we have our outward spine and our inward spine. So now that we have that glued in, we can grab whatever papers you would like to cover the inside. Okay, so I've got my papers cut down to 8 by 8. Okay. Then I'm going to, again, take my double-sided tape and go around all 4 sides on both sheets. Okay, and I'm just going to do 2 kind of in the middle. Then go ahead and do the same to your other piece of paper, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got all that. Now peel off all of the coverings. And I am going to take my glue, and on this corner here, just add a little bit of glue where there's a gap, because I really want to make sure that those corners stick. Okay, and I'm going to line it up. Okay, so now let's do the same for the front. Again, peel all of these off. Taking my glue. Again, just to those corners. going over here. Right. So now we've got our inside and outside. Okay. So next we are going to go ahead and prep our sections. So you are going to need your 8 pieces of 7.5 by 7.5 and 8.5 by 7.5. Okay. We are going to start with the 8.5 by 7.5, and again, you will need your scoring board and your scoring tool. Okay. So, grabbing the 8.5 by 7.5 on the 8.5 side, we are going to score in 1/2 inch on each side. So, at 1/2 inch and then 8 inches. Okay. And you're going to do this for all 8 pieces. 1/2 inch and 8. I hope you guys really enjoy this series. I know I had a lot of fun making my prototype, and I know I'm going to have even more fun making this one, because this one I get to decorate and embellish, and that is one thing that I really enjoy the most. I mostly enjoy the whole process, don't get me wrong, but the decorating and embellishing is the fun stuff. Making the interactive pages, elements, the flips and the flops. Okay, last one. Okay, again, put away your scoring board. So first we are going to go through, fold these in, and match them down, each one. Okay, I'm gonna pause, be right back. Last one. There we go. All right. So next what we're going to do is 1 by 1, and I'm going to be using my 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and I'm going to get as close to the top as I can. And you're going to do that for both sides on all 8 pieces. Okay, so I'm going to pause, do that, and then we'll be right back to continue on to the next step. Okay, so I've got the last one covered in the double-sided tape. So then just go in on each one and press the double-sided tape down. Okay, I'm just going to stack those there. So your flaps are going to be the top and the bottom. So we're going to have an opening on each side. This side is going to be where we glue into our spine. This side will be left open, and you'll have an extra pocket or tuck spot in between each page. So now you're going to take your 7.5 by 7.5, and I'm going to peel away the backing, add a little bit of glue to this bottom portion, that way it doesn't get in the way of trying to tuck anything into the pocket. And then we are going to glue this down. I recommend doing either one, but do one at a time. It's going to be a lot easier to maneuver if you do one at a time. And I'm just going to line this up. Okay. Well, there we go. Come in with some glue. Now, what did I do with my... There it is. All the way over yonder. Okay. So that is what you're going to do. So if you see here, this little extra, I wouldn't worry too much about it because it's going to be covered up anyway. So it's not going to be as visible as you think. Okay. So we'll do 2 more together and then I will finish up the rest off camera. Again, peel that away, add you some glue. Now you wouldn't necessarily have to, because you could absolutely, if you had like some more 1/4 inch double-sided tape, you could use that instead of the, I meant 1/2 inch instead of 1/4 inch. But I knew I didn't have enough of the 1/2 inch, so I'm using the 1/4 inch and the glue. Okay. So that's what they should look like. You could think of them as, should look like a paper towel roll or toilet paper roll when you get finished. Okay. We'll do this one together. And the rest I'll finish up off screen. Can be a little... Peel glue. I'm just going to hold down this corner. Alright, I'll be back when I've completed the rest of mine. Okay, so now I've got all 8 sections. Okay, all 8 are put together. Okay, so now we can set these aside. So we will start those tomorrow. So tomorrow's video will be section 1 and 2, which will essentially be pages 1 through 4. And we'll go over the layout, put those pieces together. But before we end today's video, I wanted to go ahead and show you the pockets that I have created that you can put on your inside front and back cover. Okay. So the first one is 4.5 by 8.5 piece of paper. I scored 1/2 inch at the top, 1/2 inch at the bottom, and 1/2 inch one side. Then I'm just going to trim those corners off and fold these in. And for this, you could use your double-sided tape if you want to use your double-sided tape, or your glue, whichever you would like to use. This one is going to go in my front cover. So I could do it here, which is what I did in the first one, but I wasn't really thinking about it because when you do it like this, it's going to have to be something small to go in that pocket, because if not, once this is full, it's going to be a little hard to get things in and out of this pocket. So if you want to turn it around and then do it on this side, that way you have more freedom of what could go in the pocket. Okay. And I think I'm just going to use my glue to glue these pockets in. This glue dries relatively fast, and it's a lot quicker than having to do the double-sided tape. So I'm just going to kind of leave a little border all the way around. Okay. And then I can take some of the paper, one of the papers from the kit. So if I wanted to make it match, then I could do the bells. Or if you wanted it to stand out and be different, let's see, we got bells. You could do one of the pretty papers. Aren't these gorgeous? I know you guys just can't wait to get your hands on these. Okay, here they are. So since we've got bells, let's do some of the music papers. Pretty. And I will go ahead and I will give you guys a flip through of what all is included. Some of these I shrunk them down and printed to a page just to have some size varieties for embellishing, but we've got frames, labels, pretty backing papers, papers to decorate and to layer. got stripes and snow, and of course vintage. So there's, I think it's 63 printable pages with the holiday album kit. So I'm just gonna, I like, when layering and covering with pretty paper, I like to leave a little border all the way around. You don't have to, personal preference, but I think it looks really cute. Okay. Make sure to hang on to your scrap pieces, guys. And for my album, I will be using the color Distress Oxide of Gathered Twigs. And not all the pages, but some of the pages, I want to use this really pretty corner punch. I haven't used it a whole lot. I thought it would just be so pretty with the vintage Christmassy feel. And grab the glue. Okay. And line it up. And then go over. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so for the inside cover on the back, you will need 2 pieces that are 7.5 by 8. 7.5 by 8. Okay. And then you'll need your scoring board just for a second. Okay. And I scored at 1/2 inch. Doesn't matter. Just you're going to want to go on the 8-inch side. Okay. So I folded that 1/2 inch, and then I took this and folded it all the way up to the top. So this one is going to go here. So that's correct. And then this one, we're going to fold down. Again, you guys could do any kind of pocket that you would like to. Okay. So this one here, for the bottom, I'm going to glue the sides. And then this bottom flap. Okay. Try to get it centered. Okay, so you have a pocket in here, and then this piece will flip up. So you could have like extra writing space in here, and then I'm going to add Velcro dots to hold that down. So I may do one in the center, or I could do one in each corner. So this top one, I'm just going to add glue right here. And if you wanted to add your decorative paper before you glue these in, then you absolutely could. I'm going to glue mine in first. Okay, so I want to leave about the same amount of space. Okay. So you could have writing space or add photos here, Velcro dot here, and then whatever you wanted to put in your pocket. So let's say you could add a tag. And obviously it'd be a little bit sturdier, but you could tuck it in the pocket and then it keeps this closed. All right. So use your papers and layer. So I think I may do these top in the bail. And then when you open them up, I'll do a different pattern. I think I like that. It's going to be cute. I'm going to do my corners here. Okay, we're going to glue it. And we're going to glue this piece down. Make sure I have it turned in the right direction. Okay, so now pick a different piece of paper, put here and here. If you wanted to do some lines, you could do lined paper. Oh, good thing I turned that over. Turn that off. It's like, where'd that piece go? Okay. All right. Grab my tool there, and I'm going to go right back over where I had to trim these down. All right, so that is our start, guys. I will finish that, and then before we get started tomorrow, I will show you guys what I did with these. So I hope you have enjoyed the base tutorial for our holiday album. I really greatly appreciate you for crafting along with me. Make sure to grab the holiday album kit, and the Whispers of Christmas papers is from last year. So this year is kind of like an add-on to the entire Whispers of Christmas collection, but they all pair well nicely together. So all the links will be down in the description, and don't forget your exclusive discount code. If you guys would be interested in joining my Discord community, let me know down in the comments. And in there, I have like the full measurement guide and layout that you guys can download in the community. The next video again is going to be tomorrow. We'll be doing pages 1 through 4. All right, guys, I will see y'all then. Bye.